Hello! The sound you just heard is the cat food coming out, and the cat trying to figure out how to get into the back of our house because it does not normally look like this. So let me help her with that. Come on, Fiona. Alright, so that might be fun to see when she wants to come back out. So welcome. I turned off comments because I can't see them anyway. The phone is facing, away from me. I'm using the rear-facing cameras. This is the first time I've ever done this. So I'm hoping we don't have any technical difficulties. That if we do, my apologies. I'll probably just teach this whole thing through and then find out through a message from you at the end. Yeah, so props that you should have gathered are some sort of a strap. So you might have a yoga strap, and this looks like an old army belt. You might have a belt that's soft, or an old necktie, or even a hand towel or a kitchen towel. It's just so that we can reach our feet. If you don't have those items, it's okay. We can use the hands in different ways. And the second prop we'll be using is either a firm blanket, so not one of your coziest, comfiest blankets, but something firm, or just a regular full-sized towel that you use to shower with. And we're going to start seated for a little bit, and so I suggest that you take the towel from its long way, and you just fold it in half once, twice, and then again, the other direction once and twice. We're just making enough of a height and a platform for your buttocks to sit on top of. And you can sit that underneath your buttocks and cross your legs in front of you. And if you're not comfortable with your legs crossed, you're welcome also to bring the feet behind you, sitting again on top of that blanket. And some people just aren't comfortable at all sitting down like that, and so kneeling is an okay way to begin the practice as well. Really, whatever works for you works for me, because you're here to feel yourself. You're here to feel better, not to do what I tell you, although I know for me sometimes it's nice to just be somewhere where someone's telling you what to do for a little while and not have to think. So another thing I suggested you might gather is an essential oil. So if you have gathered an essential oil that you own, now would be the time to put a little bit in your hand. If you're lighting a candle, or if you're using a room spray, or maybe lighting an incense, go ahead and get that done. I'm using cedar wood. It's really grounding. Depending on the day, sometimes I think it smells like cat pee, but not today. Today I like it. So you'll rub it into your hands, and then cup your hands over your face. Don't touch your face with your hands. We're not meant to be doing that right now, and some essential oils aren't good for your skin anyway. And just breathe into that scent. And if you don't have an oil, that's okay. Just close your eyes. And if you do have an oil, whenever you're done smelling it, release your hands down to your lap. And let's bring the palms either face up. And face up is a gesture of openness, of receiving. Or face down. And face down is more of a gesture of grounding. Like stick me to this earth. I have the feeling that palms face down might be the most appropriate for many of us today. And then close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, just let your gaze be very soft and unfocused down at the floor in front of you. And then feel your buttocks, where it's sitting on your blanket. And sink the weight of your buttocks into your sitting bones, softening through the muscles of the legs and letting your thighs and knees release further down towards the floor. If possible, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And use an inhale breath to broaden across your collarbones. Let your shoulder blades drop down your back, not by pulling them, but by releasing them. And in so doing, you'll soften your trapezius muscles, the muscles right at the base of your neck. And we'll be here for a few moments, so if you're uncomfortable, allow yourself to be comfortable, even lying down on your back. And right now I think a lot of our attention is really externalized. Wondering what's going on in the world around us, wondering what's going to happen in the future. These things aren't here with us in the moment. But we'll start from there. We'll use our sense of hearing to begin. So bring your awareness to the sounds that you hear. Just open the radar of your ears so that you can collect all of the sounds without differentiation. Try not to label or name the sounds that you hear. Just let them in. Zoom way out from your ears and try to hear the sounds coming from furthest away. Outside of your home. Outside of the space that you're in. Ears still open, but beginning to draw that sense of sound closer into you. Tap into the noises that you hear within your room, within the space that you're in. You might hear the sounds of the radiator, or the water heater. There's someone else in the room. And then bringing that sense of sound even closer into the body. Notice the sounds that are right around your body. And on an inhale breath, now draw that sense of sound inside, where you may hear your own heartbeat. Perhaps you hear, like me, a ringing in your ears. Perhaps you hear the sounds of your breath moving in and out through the nose. You probably hear my bad cat. Take a few more breaths here. Centered in your body. Behind closed eyes, turn your gaze downward towards the nose. And continue that trajectory down into your heart. Just resting your awareness in your chest. And notice what you notice here. No judgment, no need to change a thing, just notice. Bring your hands to touch in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow your chin to your chest. We will begin our yoga practice now. So release your hands to your lap, lift your head, and open your eyes. We will change the way that your towel is folded, or your yoga blanket. So you'll open it back up, so you've got a kind of long line of the blanket here, and just roll it into a tight roll. So everyone's blanket or towel will be a different height, and you're allowed to adjust it so that it's comfortable for you. So set that blanket across your mat towards the head side of your mat, or if you're lying on the floor, just, whichever direction you'll be lying in. And then make sure that what you're using as a strap is nearby. We'll use it momentarily. And you'll face away from the roll that you've got and come to lay down over it. Your arms will be on the head side of the roll, and the roll will be just about underneath your shoulder blades. Oh, feels pretty good. If you're like, does not feel good, then sit up, adjust the height of the roll, or even just get rid of it altogether. If you're like, I don't know if this feels right, it's your body. You can move it further down or further up to find a place where you feel a nice sort of heart opening, a nice release. It's most comfortable for the low back with the feet flat on the floor, maybe even with the knees knocking in towards one another. But if your low back is fine, if you don't have any issues there, you might enjoy bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees open wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. If there's any knee pain in this pose, skip it. Not for today. Bring the knees in line with the heels and the hips. So your arms, they can be out to a T, spread very, very wide if you have the space, or maybe they're bent 90 degrees, or even lifted overhead slightly. Let this be intuitive. Do what feels best for your body. And then lift up your head, tuck your chin slightly, and place your head back down so that you lengthen through the back of the neck. And then tune into your inhale and exhale breath as you settle down over your props. Imagine that the prop you're using is making an imprint into your body, and your body releases fully over the prop. Inhaling, exhaling, softening through the legs, whether the feet are on the floor or the knees are open wide, relaxing through the creases of your hips. And notice where you feel your body moving as you breathe. And do you feel any movement in your abdomen or in your belly? Yes or no, either are fair answers. Do you feel movement in your ribs? What about your upper chest? Can you soften all tightness and tension and allow the breath to move freely within you? And the answer might be no, not yet. We'll be here a few more moments. Use this time to anchor your attention to your breath. Just take stock of what's present with you right now. Maybe it's a monkey mind. Maybe it's a sense of restlessness. Maybe it's a heavy feeling, a tiredness. Maybe you feel calm. If your knees are open wide, slowly bring the legs together. Toe heel the feet wider than the hips and let the knees knock in towards one another. Just release through the groins for a moment. And then everybody, bring the knees back in line with the hips. Roll to one side. And you'll sit up just enough to slide the prop, whatever it is, out from underneath you. Actually, we're going to fold it over one more time and place it right by the right hip. And you'll come to lying back flat on the floor. Grab your strap or whatever you're using to reach your foot. Bend both of your knees and keep your feet flat on the floor. So we'll lift the right leg up into the sky and hook or lasso the ball of the foot, so right beneath the toes. And everybody's body is different, so your knee might look quite bent. If it's bent and you've got a long enough support, maybe slide your hands all the way down them and bring your heel far enough down so that you can straighten through that leg, then leave it straight and draw the heel closer in towards the body. Now, if you don't have any implement that you're practicing with, you can interlace your fingers underneath your thigh. And we have options with the left leg as well. So it makes the stretch a little bit easier if we keep the left knee bent. Or you can straighten through that left leg and place it flat on the earth. Now with both feet, flex through the ankles. So pull the toes back towards the face or towards the knees. And reach out or up with the ball of the big toe mound. So you're starting to lengthen from the inner groin, down the inner leg, all the way out the ball of the feet. If your left leg is straight and flat on the floor, roll your inner left thigh down towards the ground and reach out with your heel. Leave the heel down in the ground, but try and press the back of the thigh flat on the earth. You might feel your low back lifting and your pelvis rocking forward, and that's good. And maybe we draw that right leg a little closer into the body. Fiona. Now release that right leg, release the strap off of your foot, and bend both knees, place the feet flat on the floor. We'll use the blanket in a second, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. But first we'll do the second side. So either interlace your fingers behind the thigh or loop the strap, whatever you're using, on the ball of the foot, and then find your version of a straight leg. Right leg stays bent, or maybe you straighten that right leg out along the floor. Either way, flex back through the tops of both feet, so you're active in your legs, and reach up through the left big toe mound, and forward and out through the right big toe mound if that right leg is straight. You stay here. I'm going to take care of my cat for a moment. Breathe and soften the shoulders. She chooses just the sweetest times. Continue to breathe. And let's bend into that left knee, remove the strap, and place both feet flat on the floor. So back to the first side. Again, looping the strap over the right ball of the foot and straightening that leg wherever it goes in your body. Hold both sides of the strap in your right hand and make sure again that if you're using a prop that it's against the outer hip. You may or may not feel it, but it's nice if you do. So from here, from inside the root of that right leg, turn the right leg open to the right. So your toes will start to turn towards the right, your knee will start to turn towards the right. We're already working on a bit of external rotation. And then begin to open your right leg over to the right. Maybe you feel the thigh hit the blanket underneath it, maybe not. Some people have more bent legs here, that's okay. Really the point is to feel a stretch. And if there's any pain or anything that you're not thinking is good stretch, then adjust your body so that you don't feel it anymore. If you're flexible, you might reach out longer through the inner leg and turn your toes more towards the floor. So we're still working an external rotation deep in the root of this right thigh. And again, you can either leave the left leg bent or you can straighten the leg down to the end of the mat. Roll the inner left thigh down towards the ground and reach out with your heel as you try and flatten the back of the left thigh to the earth. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, soften your forehead, and breathe. And deep breaths in, deep breaths out. If you haven't got that strap, you've probably figured out a way by now, but you can hold on to your leg with your hand. I wish I could see you guys. It's very weird teaching to a cell phone. So you'll inhale, bring the right leg back up to center, remove the strap, and both feet back on the floor, knees bent. Second side. So first move the blanket over to the left outer hip, and then place your strap around the ball of the foot, sending your left leg up into the air. Hold both sides of the strap in your left hand, and then from deep in the root of the left thigh, turn the left leg out, and open the left leg to the left. Maybe leave right knee bent, maybe lengthen it down to the end of your mat or practice space, and allow this to feel good. Again, for you flexible folks, you can release from the inner left groin to the inner knee to the inner ankle to the inner heel, and then turn the toes even more down towards the ground by revolving at the root of the thigh. Inner right thigh, so that leg on the ground rolls down towards the ground, and you reach out through the heel as you try and flatten the hamstrings against the earth. And inhale, bring that left leg back up to center. Release the strap. We've got a few more stretches down here on the floor. If you've done anything that you like a lot and you want to just do it again, you're welcome to use this time however you may. So here we'll take a figure 4 stretch. Cross the right ankle over the left knee, and then take your right hand and press the thigh away from the face. You might already feel a stretch here, deep in that outer right hip. If you don't feel much of anything, you'll bring your left knee into the chest, interlacing your fingers on top of your hamstring, so between your thigh and your calf. And then you might use your right elbow to press the thigh further away from the face. So you're notice what's going on in your side waists, the right side of your waist and the left side of the waist. Is one of the hips hiking and that same side waist shortening? If so, press the hip away from you. It's likely to be the right side. Deep breaths in. Here, maybe rock the head to the right. Don't press it down, just let it fall to the right. Soften your shoulders. Breathe into where you feel this in the hip. And then bring the head back to center. Keep the legs as they are, but release your arms out to a T, shoulder height. Bring your left foot flat to the floor in front of you. Now here we're taking a sort of twist. It's a little unusual. We're going to twist the legs to the left and plant the right foot flat on the floor on the left side of the body. Boop, knee stays high. This can hurt some people's knees. If that's you, just stack the knees and take a regular simple twist. Both of them feel great. With the right foot flat on the floor, you might feel a little bit more opening through that outer right hip. Do listen to your body. And here again, if you like, you can drop the head over to the right. Just breathing. It's funny how simple and easy some floor stretches are. You don't have to spend 50 minutes doing a whole yoga session. You can just do a couple of stretches and it can really change the way not only your body feels, but your mind feels. And as we practice, we're tapping into things that are present in the moment, which is our body. It can't go to the future. It will always be here and now, always. Our breath is also in the present moment. And so is the earth supporting us, beneath us. So we'll come back to center. So hug your abdomen, knitting the abdomen, and lift the legs back up. Release the right foot to the floor. Oh, I feel it. We'll do the second side. So bring that left ankle, cross it over the top of the right knee. Press the left thigh away from you and find even length through both side waists. Either stay here if you're feeling it, and if you're not, pull the right knee into your chest, interlacing the fingers between your thigh and calf. Use your left elbow to keep pressing that left thigh away from you. Again, checking in with your side waist. Notice if you're hiking through one side or the other. Try and find an evenness through the right and left sides of your torso. And here we'll drop the head over to the left. No pressing, no pushing, just let it roll and loll. And send your breath down the right side of the neck. So it's as if you could feel the breath caressing the right side of the neck on the way down as you inhale. And on the way up as you exhale. And send that breath all the way down into the space in your body where you feel this the most. As if the inhale breath blew that space up like a balloon, and the exhale breath let the tension and the muscles out directly from the pores of the skin. So let's bring the head back to center. Leave the legs as they are. Release the arms out to a T and bring your right foot flat to the floor. Same thing, twist on the second side. Move the legs over to the right and flatten the left foot along the right side of the body. Now keep pressing that left knee up towards the sky. And again, pay attention if this side hurts your knee, but the other side didn't. Well, then don't do this side, do it differently. Stack one knee on top of the other. It's always best that we do what our body wants, what it's telling us is good for it. And sometimes it takes practice to even hear those messages. We become so disconnected with our bodies in the course of daily life. And this social isolation really gives us a chance to have the time to connect back in. Here, if you'd like, you can let the head drop to the left. Now, sometimes what we connect to in the body isn't comfortable. isn't necessarily a pleasant, happy-go-lucky sort of feeling. And that's where we can use the other tools of the present moment, where we can pay more attention to the breath, just inhaling and exhaling. Or really feel for the support of the earth beneath us and the pressure of gravity that keeps us stuck down. And bring the head back to center. And then hug the abdomen in towards the spine as you lift the knees back up to the chest. Uncross the legs and pull the knees into the chest. Rock side to side, massaging your low back. You might bring the knees further away from your belly to get lower down towards the sacrum in that massage. And here you have two ways to sit up. Either roll to one side and sit up, or holding onto your knees, rock and roll yourself up to seated. And we'll all meet in tabletop or on hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide and bring your knees underneath your hips. Now if you're flat on the floor and you've got the blanket and you got sore knees, you might use the blanket as some padding underneath your knees. Again, it's important to make yourself comfortable. If you're just starting practice, at first it can feel awkward because you're doing all these things, but it becomes second nature. So here, knees are underneath the hips and feet are pointed behind you. So the top of the feet are on the earth. Spread your fingers wide and bring the index fingers so that they point directly forward. For those of you with the mat, it will point to the front of the mat. Wrap your biceps back, that biceps forward, triceps back, so the outer arms move back towards the body, and reach your top sternum towards the wall in front of you. So we have a nice long spine. Reach your tailbone away from you, feel your low belly muscles wake up. And we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow from here. As you inhale, drop your belly to the earth, lift your heart and lift your hips. As you exhale, tuck your tail around the spine up to the sky and tuck the chin. Inhale, start from your tailbone, lift the tail up, drop low belly, rib cage, and then lift your heart. Shoulder blades draw down the back. Again from the tailbone, exhale, curl the tail under, round the spine to the sky, and here, exaggerate the movement of your shoulder blades away from the spine. If this feels pretty good, you might stay in one position for a few breaths. Otherwise, you inhale into your cow pose. Belly drops, heart lifts. And you exhale into your cat pose. Shoulder blades sliding away from the spine. A couple more rounds here, as long as you would like. Any variations, anything that feels good. And we'll all use an inhale breath to meet back into a neutral spine. So plant down through your right hand. Draw the right shoulder away from the ear. This is our base. As you inhale, lift your left hand up to the sky and open your chest to the left. Keep drawing that right shoulder down the back. Lift the left side chest up even higher to the sky. And use an exhale breath to slide the left arm underneath the right and come down to the left cheek. And you can stay here. If you're feeling all right, you might bring your right hand up to the sky, turn the palm to face behind you, and then bend the elbow to place the back of your hand on your back, or even slide it all the way across to grab your left thigh. If you're doing the upper arm variation, roll that right shoulder back and down so you spread your right collarbone away from the sternum. Deep breath. And if you've tried something, you've experimented, you don't like it, come back to a place that feels all right. So bring your right hand back underneath the shoulder if it wasn't there already, and we'll reverse the way we went in. So press down into that right palm, inhale to lift left arm up to the sky, open the chest to the left, and exhale, plant the left hand down. Nice, so we'll do the second side, being mindful of setting up our base. So wrap that outer left arm back towards the body and plant down through the hand. Inhale, lift your right arm up to the sky, open your chest to the right. Reaching that right side chest up high. Use an exhale breath to slide right arm underneath left, coming down onto your left side cheek. Again, arm variations are your options, but if you're doing the same thing on this side, lift your left arm up to the sky. Turn the palm behind you, bend your elbow, and place the back of your hand on their back, or slide it across to grab your right thigh. If the arm's on the back, roll your left shoulder back and down and spread the left collarbone away from the sternum. Breathe deep. Opening the shoulders, going slow today, taking it easy. Maybe this isn't so easy. Everybody's different. As you inhale, lift your left arm up into the sky. Exhale, place it down underneath your left shoulder. Firm foundation. Inhale, press down into the left palm. Lift the right arm up to the sky. Twist back open to the right. And exhale, place the right hand down. Heart melting or puppy dog pose. Walk your palms forward and drop your forehead to the ground. Hips stay high and stacked more or less over the knees. And here, if your shoulders feel tight, you're more than welcome to walk your hands further apart. Just let your chest open, your armpits stretch down towards the ground, and the heart or the chest melt down and back towards the thighs. For really flexible people, you might feel called, like naturally in your body, to look forward. But if you try that and it's not nice in your neck, bring your forehead back down. And just breathe deep. And here we're grounded through the head, which is settling to the mind. But we're also open through the heart, which is energizing and helps lift low moods. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders and inhale, straighten your arms. Yes. Walk your paws, your hands a little bit forward, curl your toes under and find a plank pose. So here you want to spread yourself wide apart so that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your toes are underneath your heels. And you can bring the knees down to the ground, do a modified plank here, or hold the knees off of the ground. Here, think about your front hip points, the bony part of your hips at the front. Draw them together, and between those points, right above the pubic bone, lift up into the spine. Reach the buttocks flush down the backs of the legs. Legs are firm. Same thing goes if your knees are down on the ground. Squeeze your quadriceps, legs are firm, belly's hugging. We're holding for a moment. Last thing, reach your top sternum forward. So reach your heart through your arms. You're gazing right in front of the fingertips, so maybe a foot out, but don't let the head hang. Your head is very heavy. One more breath in. And from the low belly, exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Bend the knees and even walk the feet out as wide as the mat. That's helpful if you've got tight legs. Press into the hands, let the head hang. And at any point, you can bring the knees down to the ground. Big toes touch and rest in a child's pose. Or if you're doing all right, holding your downward dog, you can stay there. Anytime if you're in child's pose and you're ready for some more down dog, meet us back here. Don't worry, we won't be here for the rest of class. So from down dog, let's inhale into plank, lubricating the shoulders. So shift your shoulders forward over the wrists. Legs are still firm and strong. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back, head hang. Inhale forward into plank. Reach your sternum forward, no hanging head here. Exhale, down dog. And here the spine releases. Neck releases. Inhale forward into plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Right away, let's walk the feet forward to the hands. Feet still wider than the hips. Bend the knees generously and grab opposite elbows. So we'll hang in a ragdoll here. Shake your head no. Bring the ears between the biceps over the ears. And bring your weight into the balls of the feet. So more towards the toes. Release your hands down towards the floor. Toe heel your feet so that they're hips width distance apart or together. And you can see your feet quite well here. Line up the very center of your feet so that the center of your feet are parallel. For some people, that means the pinky toe side of the feet are parallel to the long side of the mat. Other people, it's not the same. And if I say anything that you're like, what? Just ignore it. It doesn't matter. One day you'll maybe pick it up. Doesn't matter. So here we'll bring the hands to the outer shins. Unless you're quite flexible, you know what you're doing. Hands pressing into the outer shins. Inhale, lift your torso up halfway and straighten your legs as best you can. This pose is called Ardha Uttanasana, a half lift. So your weight is still in the balls of the feet. Squeeze your quadricep muscles to lift your kneecaps and spread the backs of your thighs. Lift and spread your sitting bones. So it's like you're lifting your tush higher up into the air and reach the top sternum forward. Same thing we did in the plank pose. Now think about your triceps, that's your upper outer arms. Roll those back towards the armpits, towards the side of the body, and feel how that helps you open across the collarbones. One more breath in. And as you exhale, fold back down. You're welcome to bend the knees or to keep the legs straight. If your hands are hanging pretty far away from the floor, then maybe bend the knees. Give yourself a little break. And if you feel any strain in the back, bend the knees. That will help release your back. One more time, Ardha Uttanasana, hands on the outer shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. So here the spine is really long. Think about when you were doing the cat-cow, when your spine is lifting towards the sky. We don't want to see that dome here. We want it to be lengthened and even a little bit concave. So bring the hands to the hips now. Draw the elbows together behind you. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. So you're standing at the top of the mat. I'll turn so that I can look at the camera and pretend I can see you through there. Again, the centers of the feet are parallel with one another, the feet hips width distance apart. And gaze at the horizon, so the chin will be parallel with the earth. Bring the top of the chin back towards the top of the tip of the chin towards the top of the neck. Nice. And now here, close your eyes and bring your awareness to your feet. Feel the weight of your feet dropping down into the big toe mound. Into the pinky toe mound. So that's where the big toe enters the foot and the pinky toe enters the sole of the foot. And release from the back of your knee down to your heels to press down through your heels. Lift up through the inner arches and feel a line of energy lifting up through the centers of the legs. Nice. And then here we'll take the very top of the thighs. So right where the thigh bone enters the pelvis and move it back. So the butt will go back behind you, but we're stacking the hips right over the heels. We're still pressing the heels and toe mounds down into the earth. And from here, reach your tailbone down between the heels, and you'll feel that wake up between the two front hip points we talked about in plank. Now we've got a very strong and stable lower half of the body. Roll the shoulders back and down, and let the palms face forward. Spread across the collarbones, spread across the upper back. Lift up your back ribs slightly so your front ribs travel in towards the back ribs. Soft shoulders. Keep the torso and legs stable. Inhale, just the arms. Lift out, up, and overhead. Soften the shoulders. Notice if your ribs have flared, draw them back. Lift the back ribs. Inhale. And exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. One more time. Inhale, sweep the arms out, up, and overhead. Maybe look up. And exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. Now we'll move on. Inhale, lift the arms out, up, and overhead. This time you're folding forward all the way down to the ground. Exhale, knees can bend. Half lift, hands on the outer shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands and step back into the plank pose. Inhale into your plank. Lower your knees down to the ground. Take another breath in, hug the belly into the spine. Elbows point straight back. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Point back through the tops of the feet. Fingertips align with the nipples. Inhale, lift the heart. Shoulders back, collarbones spread. Exhale, lower. This is Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Keep the feet on the earth. Again, inhale, lift the heart. Press down through the feet, lift the pubic bone towards your navel. Exhale, lower, last time. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, lower. We're coming back up through your plank pose. You can use your knees. Hug the belly away from the earth. Inhale, lift back up into your plank. Curl the toes under, lift the knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you into a three-legged dog. Doesn't have to go far. Then pull your knee into your chest. Shift your shoulders forward over your wrists and step your foot forward between the hands. For a lot of people, you place that right foot down, grab it with your right arm, and help it a little bit. And here we'll bring the left knee down to the ground. Inhale up onto your fingertips. Roll the shoulders back and spread across the collarbones. Breathe. Pay attention to your back leg. Allow it to open. Now plant your hands all the way down on the ground. Curl your left toes under. Lift the left knee off the earth. This is optional. If you liked the other pose better, stay with that. If your knee is off the earth, reach back with your heel to stretch open the quad and the top of the left thigh. Now for strength, if your leg's off the ground, you'll press down into your arms, lift up, hover your right toes off the earth, step back into plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Bring your knee into your chest. Exhale to shift your shoulders over your wrists. And then make your way to left foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down to the ground. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips, lift your heart. Spread across the collarbones. And allow that right thigh hip crease to open. Breathing deep, enjoying the stretch. Let's plant the hands back on the ground. Optional to curl your right toes under, lift the knee off the ground and stretch back with your heel to deepen that stretch. Breathe. And for strength, press down through your hands. Hover the left foot off the ground, step back into your plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Use an inhale breath to walk your feet forward to your hands. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, half lift, fingertips to shins, lift your heart. Exhale, fold down and in. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms overhead, strong legs and hips. Exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. Now you'll stand in the very center of your mat, or if you've got a floor that you won't slip on, it doesn't matter if you're on your mat. Bring your hands to your hips and step your feet apart wide. Inhale, bring the arms out to a T. Then make sure that your ankles are more or less underneath the wrists. Now, if you want the arm strength, you can leave the arms out. You can also work with the hands on your hips. So from deep within this left or the right hip socket, this side, turn your right leg out and angle your left toes slightly in. Now take a look down at your right foot. Make sure that the second toe, that's the one next to your big toe, is pointed directly to the back of your space. And the knee is pointed up towards the sky. And here the last thing is that right buttock is revolving and tucking underneath you. If it's hard to get that orientation, you can turn the left side of the hip slightly forward so that the knee points straight up to the sky. Inhale here. And exhale, bend into the right knee. Warrior two. So that right knee is opening towards the pinky toe side of the foot, and you keep tucking the right buttocks underneath you. Press down firmly through the left foot and breathe. Maybe you gaze over the right fingertips to complete the pose. Feel your feet rooting down into the earth. Relax your toes. And release the inner right groin to the inner knee. Draw the outer knee back towards the outer hip. Feel that leg engage in external rotation. Press down into the feet and use an inhale breath to straighten your right leg. Release your hands to your hips and parallel your feet. Second side. So from deep within this left hip socket, turn the entire left leg out. Angle the right toes in and inhale, arms out to a T. Again, we'll look down at that leg. Make sure that the toes are facing directly behind you, again, center of the foot. And the knees facing towards the sky. Left buttock is scooting underneath you. Inhale here. Exhale, bend left knee into warrior two. So the knee tracks about over the ankle. Open that left knee towards the back side of your body so that if you look down, you're able to see your big toe. Keep tucking the buttocks underneath you and press down through the right foot. Release the inner left groin to the inner knee. Draw the outer knee back towards the outer hip. Breathe. And inhale, straighten through the leg. Bring your hands to the hips and turn all 10 toes forward. We'll take a Prasarita Padottanasana with some more shoulder opening. So either grab opposite elbows behind you or interlace your fingers to draw them away from the low back. Either one works. Either way, we're rolling the shoulders back, spreading across the collarbones. Inhale to lift your heart and exhale to come forward. If your fingers are interlaced, you'll begin to let the hands fall overhead. Relax the head and the neck. Soften the shoulders to deepen this. If you're holding opposite elbows, you keep rolling the shoulders back and spreading across the collarbones, everyone. Bring your weight into the balls of your feet and your hips right between your heels. It's okay if the knees are bent slightly here. Breathe into the backside of the legs. Spread the backs of the legs wide. One last inhale. As you exhale, slowly release your hands down and forward. Fingertips underneath the shoulders. Inhale, come up halfway. Bend the knees. Toe heel your feet or step your feet in. And sink your hips down to the ground. So we're coming up on time. A 50-minute class is quite short. Maybe we'll do the next one a little bit longer. So I want to make sure that we get a back bend in. So feet on the floor, heart high. Bring the hands to the sides of the body. Maybe hold on to the legs. And slowly roll all the way down, scooting your heels in closer towards the bum, hips width distance apart. So if you have a mat, hold on to the outer edges of your mat and pull it apart. Roll the shoulders underneath you. If you don't have a mat, that's fine. You can still roll the shoulders underneath you. Press down through the feet. As you inhale, lift the hips into your bridge pose. The feet are basically underneath the knees here. Either you stay here with the hands on the sides of the body or you interlace your fingers underneath your buttocks, rocking to one side to roll the opposite shoulder underneath you, and then repeating so that both of your shoulders roll underneath you and your heart lifts. Soften the sides of the throat. Take a deep breath into the upper chest. And then release the hands from underneath you and roll down the spine. Hug both of your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Release your arms out to a T, shoulder height. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring both of your knees over towards the right elbow. So you're staying tucked into a ball, twisting to the right. Legs come down to the ground. If your left shoulder's on the earth, turn your head to look over the left shoulder. And breathe. Just release, let go. Begin to transition from effort to effortlessness. And with the minimal amount of effort, inhale your knees back to center, close into the chest. Head comes back to center as well. And exhale, knees over towards the left elbow. The right shoulder stays on the ground. Turn to look over the right shoulder. And breathe. The minimal amount of effort. Bring the knees back into the chest. Head back to center. Drag your arms down along the sides of the body. Leave your palms face up. Tuck your shoulders underneath you. One at a time, lower your feet down to the floor. If you've got low back stuff, keep your knees bent. Maybe knock them together in the center. Or if you're all right, you'll lengthen the legs out long to the end of the mat, wider than the hips. Let the toes fall open And let everything go here, just for a couple minutes. Our final resting pose, Shavasana. Now we're just about at time. This is a very short Shavasana, so I invite you to stay here longer, but if you had plans, then we are right at the 50 mark. So just to respect your time. Otherwise, I'll guide us through a bit of intentional relaxation through the body. So you're welcome to stay and to listen. There's nothing for you to do here. Nothing for you to be. Let my voice be your voice. As we move on a rotation of consciousness through your physical body. Bring your awareness to your right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth, and fifth. Palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, right elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side ribs, waist, hip, thigh, right knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, back of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Left hand thumb, second finger, third, fourth, and fifth. Palm of the left hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side ribs, left waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Back of your head, crown of the head, whole forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, space between the eyebrows, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, tip of the nose, whole nose, right side cheek, left side cheek, right side jaw, left side jaw, right inner ear, left inner ear, right outer ear, left outer ear, upper lip, lower lip, space between the lips, tongue, throat, right side chest, left side chest, heart center, upper abdomen, navel center, lower abdomen, right side groin, left side groin, back of the head, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, whole spine, right buttock, left buttock, the whole right leg, the whole left leg, both legs together, your whole right arm, the whole left arm, both arms together, your whole head, your whole torso, your whole body together, your whole body together, your whole body together. Your body firm and stable, healthy, grounded, that supported you every day of your life. Your body on the earth that holds you, that feeds you, nourishes you, inseparable from the earth. And your breath. Become aware of your breath and deepen your breath. Taking in more air, filling up more as you inhale, and letting it go smooth and slow as you exhale. Another deep inhale breath. Exhale, nose or mouth, smooth and slow. Take one more like that. Maybe this time making noise as you exhale. Begin to wiggle your fingers. Touch the pad of your thumb to each finger and feel those nerve sensations moving up your arms, into the spine, into the brain, telling your brain you felt something. Wiggle your toes, move the wrists and the ankles, movement through the knees and the elbows, and then the shoulders and the hips until you're able to bend the knees and place the feet on the floor. And then pull the knees into the chest. Lift the arms, hug the legs. Release the arms overhead, stretch back if you can, if you have the space. And then roll onto your right side if you have the room, bringing your head onto the upper arm as a pillow, your left arm to the ground in front of you. Take a few breaths in the fetal pose. Just taking note of any changes in how you feel mentally, physically, emotionally from having done some practice. And let your head hang this whole way and press down into the left hand, using your arms to sit yourself up. Your head hangs and is the last thing to arrive. In a comfortable seat, you can bring your hands to your lap, roll the shoulders back. Sink your hips down into the earth, grow roots, grounded. Part of you that is earth, your body that becomes earth. Grounding down into that part of our world. And lifting the crown of your head up towards the sky as if you're filled like a balloon. Between the crown of the head, the spine like the string on a balloon, spacious, rounded through the hips. And bring your hands back to your heart as we began practice. Take a deep breath in, lift the heart, keep it lifted as you exhale. Just tuck your chin down, honoring the time that you've spent here today. And gratitude to the roots of yoga and the teachers before us. We come from India. And maybe in this moment, you choose to send out